Today we have ventured out of Sydney's Central Business District, or CBD, and we are currently in Clovelly, just south of world-famous Bondi Beach and Bronte Beach. Tourist movement within destinations is not very well understood. Urban and tourism planners have an idea of how they would like tourists to explore destinations. However, this does not always translate into reality. Furthermore, in recent years, more destinations, both urban and rural, would like tourists to venture out of typical tourist attractions and explore different suburbs, precincts, rural towns and villages. This has given rise to use of geospatial information systems in tourism. For example, tracking tourism movement with GPS. Liu and McKercher have theorized the movement of tourists within destinations. Some tourists do not venture out of their accommodation, exhibiting no movement. Other tourists, depending on the convenience and confidence in exploring the destination, may travel within destination to more prominent tourist attractions by tour bus or other tourism-specific transportation, or if they're adventurous enough, travel around the destination by car or public transport. Tourist movement has also different patterns. Touring point to point, which is traveling from point A to point B, making stops along the route. Circular pattern, going outside to explore destination but always coming back to the same point, which is probably accommodation. Radiating a hub, also exploring destination, going out of accommodation and then coming back to it, or random exploration. Edwards and Griffin have explored the patterns of movement of tourists within Sydney and Melbourne city centres. They found that in Sydney, many tourists were travelling just along two streets and were repeating their paths. This demonstrates that tourists are not very confident in exploring the destination. In Melbourne, a different pattern has emerged. Tourists were traveling along different streets and were not repeating their path very often. Therefore, we can conclude that in Melbourne, tourists are quite confident in exploring city centre. This is due to several factors. The layout of Melbourne CBD is very easy to navigate because it has a rectangular shape. There are also free tour bus and tram that help tourists to orient themselves when they arrive to destination. There are also several information centers helping tourists to navigate the city. This information has been useful for destination of New South Wales and City of Sydney to understand where they need to improve information system to tourists. Mapping tools and geospatial information systems are useful for tourism planners and also academics in exploring and understanding the topic of tourist movement within destinations.